Ultimately, this is so simple. This is only about fulfillment, completeness. The realization here, right now, that nothing is missing, nothing needs to be done. This is complete. The simplicity of being here now and not missing anything can seem radical to us at first. It is a totally different paradigm. Our usual assumption is that something needs to change, that this is not good enough, that this needs to be transformed in some way, that either the bad parts of my experience need to drop away or the good parts need to be enhanced. We believe that something right now is missing, that there is something happening right now which makes this incomplete. And if that change were to occur, we have the assumption that this lack, this sense of something missing, would disappear. But of course, the basic assumption we have is that we know what we are. We know what this is. All of our beliefs and feelings of incompletion simply rest on the sense of knowing we have. We are convinced that we know what we are, that we know what this is, and that we know that something needs to change. But do we know what this is? Do we know what we are? Would our assumptions actually hold up to scrutiny? If we look for what we believe to be here, this problem of ours, do we actually find it? Can our assumptions actually be affirmed? And if they can't, what evidence of our assumptions being true do we actually have? When we can't affirm them, when we see that there is no actual evidence for what we believe to be true, then those beliefs are naturally seen through. They lose their seeming capacity to veil this completeness. And we notice what this is. And what do I mean when I say this? This has been referred to by many different names. Sometimes it's called awareness. Sometimes it's called being, openness, emptiness, true nature, the Godhead, nothingness. But the words we use don't matter. They are all simply pointing to this. And what is this? What is this invisible dimension? This completeness? The simple answer is that we can't know what it is. If this was knowable to the mind, then it would be something. It would need to have some kind of objective characteristics. it would need to be an object of knowledge. It would need to have some kind of qualities. But this doesn't have any of that. It is no thing. If it were some kind of state, then it would be describable. I could tell you what it feels like, even if my description wouldn't be perfect. I could register the presence of this state by some kind of marker in my experience. I would be able to say that it has such and such quality, maybe of openness and relaxation and love. But this completeness, this ungraspable dimension, has no qualities at all. Assessing it as any kind of state is totally impossible. It is no state. It has no felt qualities, not even subtle qualities. This is also not an experience. Experiences are describable. They have a duration. They can be increased in intensity. They come and go. They are not always here. Some experiences are quite remarkable. Sometimes they are so moving that we call them awakening experiences. But this is not an experience at all. It is not an exhilarating experience, nor is it a boring or plain experience. It is a non-experience. It has nothing discernible to it. I cannot contrast this with any experience, simply because there's nothing here with which I could make a comparison. Likewise, this is not a space of any kind. There simply is nothing here which I could call a space or a field, even though I might refer to this as a space because it is all-inclusive. It's actually not the case that I find spaciousness, that I find openness in of itself. And is there someone or something in the middle of this? Someone who is aware of this, who can recognize this, or not recognize this? Where would I look for that? Does it reside in the head? Does it reside in the chest? Or does that entity or center reside somewhere else in the body? And what do I even look for in the first place? What is that self, that I, supposed to be? Should I be looking for a feeling? Or should I be looking for a thought? Feelings are always found. there are plenty of feelings present. But are any of them a self? Thoughts are constantly arising. But do any of those thoughts have the property of being a self? Do thoughts create a self? Do feelings create a self? What is it that they would be creating? I can't find any of that. I simply don't find a self. Much less do I find an incomplete self or an unawakened self. So by what measure could I say that I need to become awakened, that I am lacking something, that this is incomplete? I might have a feeling of pain right now, or a feeling of intense sensation, what I might even call a contraction. Does that hide this? Are those sensations an obstacle? If they could hide this, then this would be something. It would be an object or a state that can be obscured by other states and objects. But since this is nothing, no thing, how can it be hidden? How can this be obscured? Can this awareness as such, which is undefinable, resist anything? Can any part of our experience be blocked by awareness? For that to be the case, awareness itself would have to be something that can block other things. But since awareness has absolutely nothing to it, it is impossible for it to block anything. Awareness, simply put, cannot resist anything, because there's nothing here to be resisting. This is naturally all-inclusive. I cannot find any separation between this and what I'm experiencing. In order for me to find any separation, I would first need to find this as something discernible, and then judge how far away my experience is from this. How far away are thoughts from this? How far away are feelings from this? Since I don't find this, The question simply doesn't make sense. It is like asking how far away nothing can be from something. How can nothing be separate from something? How can this be separate from what I'm experiencing? Awareness is clearly here, yes, but it's not findable. It can never be an object, something that I'm aware of. And since it's not findable, how can it be distant from anything? Even though I cannot find it, it's also impossible for it not to be here. Wherever I look, whatever I feel, whatever I think or hear, this is already here. It's impossible to find a place where this is not, where awareness is not. It is also impossible to have more of this, because I don't know what I would be having more of. Since this is not findable in the first place, increasing it is also impossible. Can this be enhanced? It is like saying, can nothing be enhanced? There's simply nothing here to which I could apply this category of enhancement. And is it something that can be gained or lost? Again, I wouldn't even know what I would be saying is lost or gained, because I cannot define or identify it in the first place. It is simply here, but I can't find it. It's not like right now it has been added to my field of experience. Nor could I say at any point that it has been removed from my field of experience, because I don't know what I would refer to when I say that it has been added or it has been removed. Right now, strangely, what is revealed is not findable, not graspable, not knowable or understandable. And yet, it is absolutely definitive. It is, strangely, paradoxically, definitive by not being anything. As long as I'm referring to a thing, or an experience, or a state, you could always misunderstand me. You could have your own ideas, images, and feelings about what I'm saying, the experience or state that I'm trying to convey. But here, this cannot be misunderstood. There's simply nothing here to misunderstand. If you understand anything at all, you're understanding something. But this is not something. Therefore, only this is the perfect transmission. Because it is the transmission of nothing. Nothing here to misinterpret, to cultivate. Fully complete by virtue of lacking being an impossibility. How could this be lacking? This is not something that could be lacking. And I don't even find completeness. Because completeness as something would be an object, subtle or otherwise. This is completeness beyond completeness. The completeness that is complete because there is nothing here to be incomplete. Nothing here that could be lacking. Nothing that could be added to this. And what is it like to presence this? To recognize this, which can't be lacking? Well, it's nothing other than simply being here. Not needing anything. Not having anything to do or anywhere to go. Nothing to seek. Effortless presence. Naturalness. Uncontrived. Totally ordinary, really. Since this is not something, it also can't be separate from your ordinary experience of embodiment, of feeling the body in the chair right now, of seeing the room in front of you. Since this is not a separate state or space, it also can't be other than this ordinary experience of being here. So it didn't go anywhere. Nothing has changed. Nothing has been added. Nothing has been improved or enhanced. We're simply here, and it's complete. What can we do but smile, enjoy this ultimate gift of completeness here right now?